Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with South Korean-born New York City jazz pianist and composer Jihee Heo. We talked to her about her life in music and her latest 2020 CD, Are You Ready? This South Korean native has a Master of Music degree from the Manhattan School of Music and has gone on to perform at acclaimed festivals and venues all over. Get to know her and enjoy the story.
Yes, nice to talk with you.
Nice to talk to you. Thanks for taking a minute out. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course.
Let's dive right in and talk about your latest 2020 CD, Are You Ready? And I guess it all depends on what we're talking about, but I think we're all probably ready to get back to live music and celebrating releases. So talk to me a little bit about the timing of this. I mean, it comes out during a pandemic at a very strange time. Do you have any thoughts on the timing of the release of this album?
I mean, but when it means to come, to the right time, I mean, you have to do it. So, I didn't plan to do it at all, but I saw the situation is just like opening up, leading me to creating that album. And then, like, for example, I recorded with the Rodney Green drummer, and he was really busy, but it was like before pandemic, and he said, I'm available only for one day. And then I was kind of thinking, maybe this might not work. And then I asked the studio, and then after that, it's like all people involved, like videographers, photographer. And then when I asked them, so can you do this? And then they also, yeah, we can do this. So, this is like just example, but I saw that like all the situation is kind of fit each other, and then leading me to do this project, although this pandemic. So I was thinking, if this like a situation is opening up to like this, then it meant to be happen. You know what I'm talking about?
And it's a great sound, wonderful album. You have to be very happy about the way it sounds and the way it all came together.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, of course, you can satisfy 100%. That's why you have to do music until you die. But, I was at the time pretty happy about, what I got. And, this is what I interested in. I wanted to try in a different genre also. Like, this is my album. So I want to just like do everything that I want to do,
So those that do actually buy this album or download it, what do you want them to get from this experience, this project that you put out?
So the main purpose, because, I'm new actually. So, this is my first trio album, and then, I'm probably not well known. So I hope everyone's getting to know me more and who I am, because, if you listen to music, you can kind of feel this, this person's like personality, or the value, what she likes, that kind of stuff. So I hope people get to know me more and more by listening to this album, what Jihee likes, and then also I want them to feel where she's going to, like as a musician.
You're originally from South Korea. Talk to me a little bit about your childhood and how you really got involved with jazz.
I started with the classical music, of course, and then later I stopped because, you listen, typical woman, your mom told me, hey, why don't you focus on the, schoolwork? And then I said, okay, why not? And then later I got really into music again, but I didn't know where to start first. And then, so I told my mom, I kind of want to do music again. And then my mom said, oh, yeah, I actually saw the post that, school rock band post that they are looking for the keyboardist. And then I said, then I want to do it. I didn't know anything about rock, of course, but I just did that. So that's how I started. And then later I wanted to pursue my career as a musician, and, didn't know which one I should do. Do I have to classical music, or do I have to do something else? Someone introduced me. Yeah, there's like jazz music, if you haven't heard it. And then, yeah, I know what it says. Yeah, this like that. And then I liked it. And since I've learned classical music, so I thought maybe I can try jazz piano. So that's how I started.
Right on. So who were your musical influences?
Yeah, first musician that I listened to was Oscar Peterson. Someone, recommended me that album. This is like, the album that you should listen to if you want to start jazz piano. So that was my first album. Like that was called Weekend Requests.
What about your first live jazz show? Do you remember that?
Let me see. Yeah, so I went to college in Korea the first year. Yeah, it was like a jazz piano, jazz department in Korea. And then, yeah, I met lots of jazz musicians there. And then someone, asked me if I can try. Like, this pianist can come, so can you try? Can you come, And then that was my first gift. That was like 19.
What do you like the best about being a musician? What's the most satisfying thing about waking up every day and knowing you're a professional musician?
That's a good question. I believe that music can change someone's life. And then, of course, everyone has their own important role in this world, of course. But I think as a musician, I think there is a power to change someone's life, because I do too. When I listen to when I have a hard time, I play certain music to boost me up, that kind of thing. And when I feel also like exhausted, and there's some music that boosts me up. So this kind of like it contacts the soul. It makes me feel that I'm doing such a job, that wonderful job that can impact human beings' life.
Did you always have a dream of coming to America and coming to New York?
Yes, actually. So after I was attending college in Korea first year, and then I always wanted to go abroad because if you want to learn jazz, I thought, you have to experience culture, if you want to learn deeply. And then I wanted to go to Berkeley initially. But at the time, I didn't know anything about it, like a scholarship program or anything. So, and a friend of mine, and when I realized it, I found that it's pretty expensive to afford it. And a friend of mine introduced me, so there's a conservatory in Amsterdam, so I want to try that one. And I, auditioned there, I went there. But I always wanted to come to U.S. And then, after I got some money, and then I applied to Manhattan School of Music, and then I got accepted, so I did a master there. Yeah, so of course I wanted to come to U.S. all the time to learn, because this is the country where jazz, was born. So I think it's really important for me to experience, live here,
Talk to me a little bit about mentors who have been big influences on the way that you've lived your life as a musician and carried on.
Yes, I had a lot of musicians who helped me. So there was, he was a Korean teacher. He was kind of making me to dream, and then kind of gives me ideas to, go to U.S. So his name is Sang-ik Jo. He's Korean. He was playing like a very famous Korean broadcast show as a pianist. So he was my first. He introduced me all the jazz legendaries like Ahmad Jamal, Oscar Peterson, Sada Walton, all kind of, jazz musicians, like very basic traditional stuff. So, yeah. And then when I went to Amsterdam, there was a teacher whose name is Carl Bley. He's a Dutch pianist. So I learned a lot of harmony from him. And then when I came here, when I was attending Manhattan School of Music, Phil Markovich was my teacher. He's very, very great teacher. So, yeah, I learned a lot from him. And, and then recently, I've been also talking with this musician, Bruce Barr. He's a very great pianist. And, sometimes, I take lessons from him. Which is really great.
So being, next to a pretty big pulse of jazz in New York, how do you see the return to the stage? How do you envision this year unfolding and live music coming back and things kind of opening up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully, things kind of hopeful because I've been seeing that, venues like opening up but still like under 50%. So, but, Also because the weather gets, warmer and warmer, so you have more opportunity to do the outdoor gig. And then also everyone is starting to get vaccinated, so I'm hopeful. And then, we're trying to using other platform, like as a live stream. I'm just like being positive, just like a fingers crossed, and everything gets back to normal. Yeah, I think we'll survive, anyway, in any form.
So when we do return and you get back on stage and we're back in the crowd, what do you hope we all realize about this long time away from live music?
Actually, 2 days ago, I had a live stream with Joe Farnsworth drum and Marta Kenny, and then I was talking about, I played a song called Dark and Light, and I said like this, the reason why I named this one, because there's no light if there's no dark. I mean, the light is not going to be bright as it's supposed to be if there's no dark. And I believe that when person got through the long dark night, then this person will shine ever than before. So that was, the 1 year was pretty long. And of course it was pretty challenging for me, of course. But when I look back my last year, that I, improved a lot as a human being and also as a pianist. I see myself that, wow, the things that I couldn't do before, now I can do it. So I know that this kind of like difficulties or hardships help someone, growing up like, spiritually, also in other parts. So I think this is what it's supposed to be. This is the life you bear you face the situation and growing up more and more, and then you meet another mountain and then you just grow up again, that kind of thing.
Final question to you is this. Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're the one living a life. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, I'm a musician who's trying to make world better in my position. I think that's it. That's where it's supposed to be. That's
a great answer. Right to the point. Perfect. Hey, thank you for taking some time out today to talk about your life and music and everything in between. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for calling me and asking me to do the interview, of course.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview. We'll give you a bit of insight into the finest players in South Korea, New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Jihee for her time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.